allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Minute from November meeting to be approved. All in favor? Bills to be paid. All in favor? Okay, public hearing to raise garbage rates.
So you need to do a motion to move into public hearing?
We need to,
Yes. Somebody needs to make a motion.
all in favor?
So then, just as a brief explanation, so you've got it in your minutes, since PSI's bill to you is 23.50 a month, basically.
Yeah.
You're only bringing in 16.60 a month, but you need to consider increasing sanitation rates. So just kept a brief explanation there, and then you're the public, I guess. See how they go?
Yeah, get up.
So how much did it change the,
How much did it end up going up, Tressa?
$5.
$5 a month
So from 12 to 17.
oh, that's not a, yeah.
He was over here sweating for a second. I mean, that's what we've kind of discussed at
I'd like
last.
to make a comment. I've noticed that I talk to people out in the country, and out in the country, they're paying as much as between $22 and $26 a month for rural garbage pickups from PSI. So our comparison rate's quite a bit lower than theirs are way out in the country, out in other areas. So us coming up that much wouldn't be that much of a difference in the whole total scheme of compared to the regular people around you.
Yeah, if we go up to 5, it'll be 17. So I have two garbages, mine go up 10, or it'll just the 5.
Something per can.
Yeah, $5 per can, so it'll be 17.
And 2 cans or less, but we charge the same, but 2 cans for us.
You just double it.
or less.
Okay, right. I know I'll get a question about that.
Any other questions?
When did you go into effect?
Next bill cycle.
So,
Yeah.
we just gotta add that into our,
So,
our monthly payment, right?
Yeah, so next, Tressa's next bill is for that.
January's bill.
Be
Yeah, so
$100 a
December will
month.
be, the 95, but January's bill will be 100.
Okay, that's, because I already submitted mine, so.
Oh, so, yeah.
Good.
So then you need, so
So I make a motion to close the
close
public
public
hearing.
hearing.
Did you want to say anything?
No, not right now, maybe next year.
So the next, you have there's a resolution that you would vote on that approves the $5 increase. I'll let you do the motion.
So, no, you're good.
Go ahead.
Okay, so discussion on garbage rate increase and adopt resolution.
I move to adopt the resolution.
Well, we've had a proposal from Bateman Brothers Construction that they need to buy some water. They've been purchasing it from out of the river, out of the rural water usage, out of the irrigators' water rights. And they ran out of that, and they had approached me last year about buying some water. They made a comment that they were paying like $50,000 for water out of Pocatello, and I was telling him it was going to cost more than that to use it from us. At this point, our new pump system is back online, running and everything else. If we wanted to sell water, we would sell it out of our alternate water, our big pump over there. Our big pump, we have noticed, she's showing me the bills. We're running about $1,000 a month for it to run 24 hours a day, which is about $33 a day to run that water, okay, to run city water. The other one's going to be about the same, so we'll just transfer it, maybe not quite as much, but about the same, so we'll transfer that from one pump to the other usage. If we sell water to them, then we've got to calculate against the usage of water, and it may not be as much, but it might very well be upwards around $20-30 a month to run water to them to put in tanks, okay, and tanker trucks. Lately, they've been only using about 10 trucks a day, which is 6,000 gallons per truck. So that's 60,000 gallons a day. If we was to charge them $6 a gallon, that's $360 a day for the use of our water. Up to them, if it's 7, it'd be $420. If they get up to the ultimate use, which is when they were pumping the top amount, it was 20,000 gallons a day. The truth about the city of Basalt is right now we're using about 50,000 gallons a day during this time of year. It works out to about 330 gallons per household. That's what we're using. Okay? If we was to go ahead and use that, even at the top amount of water, they would, I mean, during the summertime, Basalt will exceed a million to a million and 300,000 gallons a day when everybody's watering and stuff like that. So even at top use, and if we get into it, they know this project they got up on the hill is supposed to be a 9-month project for them. They've already got a month and a half into it. So we're looking at the middle of June, July. Once they hit regular water season, they may go back to the river because it'd be much cheaper than buying it from us. And so if we decide, it's up to the city council to decide if we're going to sell them the ability to use our water rights, our water to pump it like that, we still will be within our water parameters, the amount of water we use in a year, because we're allotted almost 3 times as much from our water rights as what we use, because we have flood irrigation in town. We never hit the amount that the Rural Water Users Association says we have allowed. So we won't come up against that as an issue. But the other deal is do we want to go ahead and use some water? We've noticed that I've been fixing pumps and stuff, and I've used up a lot of the city water plants. And so we're a little bit short on funds, so we're encouraged to sell some water to them, but it's going to cost a little bit of wear and tear on the pump. Because it's a VFD drive, it's not a high wear and tear, it's just off and on, off and on. Because I would have them singled out and just running that system for filling up their tanks over there. They would furnish all the hoses and everything else, and it tells me every time I'm there they kick it on, but I'd also have them fill up an exact board over there and keep a board with not a lot amount of tanks that they would use. And so we're looking at, could be like $20,000-30,000 of water that they could get for us over a period of that time. And our cost is relatively low without having to put a lot into our funds. And that's the point I want to bring up to you. Okay?
So weren't you for $36 on?
The what?
The $36 you were talking about? How'd you figure that out?
The,
I think you're off.
There's something right here, 60,000, is that?
Yes, 60,000 gallons, if they're paying $7 a gallon, would be 60 times 7, would be 420. Okay, and that would be a day.
Okay. And how did you figure out 36? There was a $36. So 360 a day.
It would be, yeah,
How much does them tanks hold?
6,000 gallons. The weight would be 48,000 pounds. They run it up and down the road over there. They've got a right from Bingham County in the state of Idaho to use this road as the main highway for putting everything up on the hill. We are gonna be plagued by
Why,
monster power units and everything else coming through our area. You're gonna have the big wind turbines that are, you know, 200 and something people long.
Yeah, they've already started bringing some of the equipment because it's coming in pieces,
Yep, yep.
so that we saw
But
the
the,
other
but
day.
the, but the blades will be coming in as a whole blade right up that road right there, so. And that's why they've put in the thing up there, so.
how much a gallon you talking about charging?
Not, I was thinking somewhere between $6 and $7 per thousand. And it'd be up to the city council. We could go a little higher if we want to,
Per thousand.
per $1,000. And so each truck, at $6, that's 36, 696 is $36 per truckload. And if there's 10 roads, that's $360 a day. They'd be paying for that 6,000.
You said, how many gallons did you say each truck?
6,000.
6,000?
It'll take that pump less than 10 minutes to fill it up each time.
That's not right, is it?
I have no idea how much those
Huh?
hold. I don't know, he was asking if that's right, and I said, I don't know how much those trucks hold.
Well, they hold 1,000 gallons.
Huh? They're 6,000 gallons.
6,000 gallons. And if we charge them, it's for easy figured, if we charge them $7 a gallon,
6 times 7 is 42.
420, not 42,
Yeah, well, that's 40, yeah. But that's what I'm saying, that's 420.
because you said 36.
But that's
That's
six,
not-
that is $6 a gallon.
No, it ain't. It's 360, isn't it?
Well, 6 times 6 is 36, yeah.
$360, not
For
36
10 trucks,
Huh?
for 10 trucks. So it'd be $36 per truck,
It'd be, yeah.
and then 10 trucks would be $360 a day, a day.
That's what they're using on the low end of it, when they're going up there, they've got a bunch of tanks sitting up there, that they just go up and fill up the tanks. Then they fill up their, to make the beds, they've got 14 miles of bed, and some of them corners have got to be 50 feet wide, and so they're making great big roads all over the top of the hill. Prepare yourself for, what is it? I forget how many flashing red lights on the side of our hill, there goes the view, you know.
So,
You haven't got much say over that one. Too bad we couldn't talk them into going yellow, orange, and all we do.
so, you said they've got permission from Bingham County?
From Bingham County.
They haven't got our permission to run our stretch of road.
Bingham County gave it to them.
They can't give it to them, because we maintain it, it's our road.
Bingham County and the state of Idaho gave it to them.
How can they give it to them? It's our road. We have to maintain it.
Guess what?
What?
You don't have a choice.
It's already started, it's well into,
They've already got a permit to use that road, because it's the only straight shot for them big turbines to go up that hill. And it's the only crossing on the whole highway, except for down there at Wolverine Road. It's the only crossing that's low enough to let them low boys come across the tracks.
I'm not sure they can get over that one.
That one's already been checked out and measured and everything else, they can cross it.
So how much extra wear and tear is that gonna put on our phone?
Huh?
How much extra wear and tear is this putting on our phone?
Basically, it'd be like running, for that period of time, it'd be like running it like we did all summer long. It would be not much extra wear and tear. Because we have a VFD drive and it brings it up slow. If it was a regular pump that comes online really hard, it's a little harder on them, but a VFD drive builds up the amp slow, and so the pump comes online slow, so the wear and tear isn't great. It's just standard thing. Them pumps basically last 25, 30 years, maybe 40 years. And so we're talking about taking half of 1 year's life off of it.
So why don't we do the math on that and tack that to the cost?
The wear and tear, that's why
That's why.
I was saying $7,
Okay.
$8.
Okay, so you've already done the math.
I was just guessing at
Oh,
the extra
well,
money
you don't-
that it's
okay.
gonna take to get it
Yeah,
out. And that's why I was saying, it's gonna be up to you guys to decide whether we're gonna charge this price or that price for the use of it, or whether you're gonna say no to the guys that we don't want that way.
Plus the wear and tear on the roads.
And that is, and they wanted originally to be able to come through town. I told them unconditionally no. And so they already talked to Bingham County, and they can come down Escrot and down this road and come down the 700, stop at our pumping station over there, go over and go out. And that way, all impact will be on county access road. So,
You got from the well house to
yeah.
Goshen Road.
It's gonna be a little bit hard where they round the corner, right down there, but they've already got, if they tear up the roads, then they've gotta pay extra.
I was gonna say, is Bingham County gonna just take care of this road? Is that something they've,
Isn't that a good one? I've had to go out there and plow the snow, they haven't done nothing, so.
oh, really?
Yeah.
So do we have anything?
And I've had to sand it, they haven't
I'm
done
going
nothing.
down to the commissioners, I guarantee
So-
you that.
Do we have something that says that they will repair the road if they damage it?
We don't in place. You want it, that's why it's up to you guys to say that. If there's a damage on that corner, we want it repaired.
You were talking about the Bingham County taking care of our road.
Good question. No, we don't. Bingham County threw it at us a couple of years ago that we have to maintain our area, and they just overrid us on this one here. The truth of it is if they kept bringing great big things up this road and they tear up that bridge in the middle of town, they think it's our problem. But I think if they've already okayed it and everything else, and they tear up our little bridge, someone needs to be sued, I think, right?
Well, but I think if you guys have to maintain that road, you need to talk to the county commissioners before they start hauling that all up in there.
Yeah. I'm going down there.
Yeah, because
Get that in there.
that's true. I mean, if they're making us maintain it, then we have to have some say over who's going on. With those heavy trucks, and those blades and everything are not tiny.
Yeah, and they're literally hundreds of trucks a day going up and down these roads when they're hauling gravel. They've already, she can tell you how many goes by her house.
Oh, a lot.
At
We were
least,
standing out there one day talking to a lady that stopped by, and I was like, holy cow, it was like every 3 to 4 minutes
yeah,
passing each other. Yeah, there's a lot.
yeah. So,
Either that or get the county to take maintaining the road back.
Yeah, something's gonna have to happen, because we
over this period of time, it should be their responsibility.
You're gonna have a lot of, but it's not just over that period of time, it's the wear
Yeah.
down the road. I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You only have a certain lifespan on your roadway.
And how much they're gonna weaken them bridges?
Yeah, exactly.
Especially, if they start hammering that middle bridge, then somebody needs to come up to it and not just say it's Basalt's turn to fix it. That's thousands of dollars that we don't have.
And I have no idea how heavy that stuff is, so the turbines probably aren't super heavy, but the other stuff.
I don't worry about them 2 bridges down there, I worry about this bridge
This one
over
in
by
town,
the
yeah,
well house.
yeah, yeah, right there.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that
by
sewer
our
plant.
sewer ponds. Well, there's not a real straight road up the hill if they go out Goshen Road, is there?
Yeah, they're
Right
making one.
Right past the graveyard, and it just turns off right by the old garbage that is in there and goes right straight up on. They've got a brand new, standing area for their construction zone up there. It's about little over a third biggest town, or maybe almost half as big as the city of Basalt right here. They got a big pad built, and then big roads going up on top, and they told me 14 miles of roads going back up and forth across the top of the hill, going back.
Where's Vandersloot at?
Vandersloot is on the other side, on the other half of the project that they haven't got rights on yet.
I went over your head. It was a joke.
No, Vandersloot stopped them on the half that goes that way, already.
Why didn't he stop him on this half?
He don't have no say on it.
Just
He
can't.
doesn't cross his property.
Well, I think we're gonna put that one on hold, because I'd like to know more about what they're doing to our road.
It's, right now, this is the Bingham County that has overridden this on the roads.
We're just talking
And the state of
maintenance right
Idaho.
now.
They've got a permit from the state of Idaho and Bingham County.
Well, we're gonna have issues fighting the state, there's no doubt about it. But if they're gonna try to make us maintain it, then I don't see how can they tell us that we have to maintain it if they can tell us what we?
If it's a city road, so I don't know, so like, you'll have your bypasses, so like Highway 91 when it goes through,
Right.
I-15, that becomes a state jurisdiction like in Blackfoot. So the question in my mind is whether that, because that's your primary artery, back, whether that's supposed to be a Bingham County road or a state road, help fund it. It kind of depends on where the funding comes from, but that's the question. But if it's a city street, then that's your city street, county can't override it. So they can't force that maintenance.
And if it's a Bingham County road, they have to take the maintenance on it, not us. If they're making us take the maintenance.
Which, if that's true, then it's
So,
your road, then you guys can
It's
say, hey.
either or,
Right.
can't be both.
Exactly.
I thought the county maintained that road, but when we
That's
did our
what-
sewer, we had to dig it up, so they were like, that's why we only did half of it.
Right.
So
Well,
I thought they
that's
maintained
But
that.
once that sewer project passed, they turned around and said that we have to maintain from city boundary to city
The
boundary.
whole road.
We have to maintain the whole road, any road in access to the edge of town, the whole road is ours in maintenance, is what they said. They said they found a 1939 law that says that.
Okay, then I want us to get 1939 laws, because then we can say you can't drive on our road.
Because you guys, because it's your road.
Because they would have had to
It's your
have
jurisdiction,
approved
it's your
that with
jurisdiction.
us, right?
If they have a law that
Permission
says
from
it's
us.
our road, then we
Well,
can even.
and what they're talking about there is, anyway, it's an old law when you annex, you can't annex half a road. If you annex the road, you annex the whole
That
thing.
makes sense.
Yeah, because you can't have them maintaining one half, you gotta maintain the other. So when city limit gets increased, you take over the whole road.
Yeah.
But like I say, sometimes you have those screwy jurisdiction roads because the state will monitor, the main state arteries.
Mhm.
Highway 91's a state road, even though it goes through Firth, for example. The state
Right.
maintains that. But the same thing in Blackfoot. Well, this one may be supposed to be a county road because it's a major artery off of Highway 91. But I don't know that. I don't know what the status of that road is. But if it's truly a city road, then you guys have jurisdiction over it and they cannot override you. Set up jurisdiction. So if they're telling you off that road and it's truly a city road, then you guys can say, no, we're not gonna take the risk of the maintenance on our bridges and stuff. So that's where, I think you need to go visit the county commissioners.
Can you, I was gonna ask you, would you be able to go with me?
Sure.
Okay.
Because,
Do
we
they
need to
need-
know, whose jurisdiction that is, because that's a big risk for you guys.
Yeah. Now, do they need every week or just,
Yeah, so just call down, or I can take care of
They have
it.
to be put on the
You
agenda.
gotta be put on the agenda.
oh, yeah, exactly, yeah.
We should be put on their agenda by the end of next week. They meet just about every day.
Yeah, let's do that. Because I'd like to know what's going on with that road, I didn't know that was all happening.
Well, you guys realize how much water that is? He's talking 10 loads a day?
Now, are we gonna cap that? Can we say 10, that's it?
You can,
You can do whatever you want, it's your water.
it's up to you. Or what their top rate that they were using was $20,000, which was 25 loads a day. And 200,000 gallons, which was 25 loads a day. And like I was saying, 200,000 gallons in comparison to what the city uses during the summertime is 1/5 of that.
How is our water level?
Huh?
How are our water levels?
Underground water levels, not good. They're really low. The canal company has just got a proposal from the State of Idaho Water Users Association. They're gonna put in 6 on this district right here, on this canal district. 6 wells that are gonna be injection wells, are gonna go along and drill 6 50-foot injection wells, perforate them, stop and seal them up, put a filter on the end, on the incoming, and set of lights so that they can put relatively cleaner water into the aquifer. They're gonna inject them during off seasons. They're gonna start trying to get a water right that comes down during the winter time and applies water to the underground. Once them are in place, our water levels are gonna go back up. But for right now, the massive amount of houses is using that much water during the summertime, and there's no way we're keeping up with the standard input on the canal systems, because everybody's taking out flood irrigating and don't put as much water into the underground. And so it's an ongoing situation where there's more sprinkling, there's less water getting in the underground, there's less clean out in the canals. For years, they was telling them to seal off the canals so that they was using more water, and now all of a sudden they're saying Springfield and American Falls, there was no water running out into it the whole end of the season, and so they didn't have that standard extra water they had, and Thousand Springs has been going down, and they've got extra water that they want to get out, and they're gonna call for a curtailment of wells. In fact, they did, but a lot of the well guys just sue us, we're gonna pay the fines, and we're just gonna use the water. So what they're doing right now is, the money that City of Batesville and everybody else, that the ground irrigators are paying in, is gonna go out to putting water recharge systems back into the system, so that we're gonna do it. There's gonna be literally 30 or 40 of them strung out from Ryrie all the way down through here, recharge on these water well systems. So in a couple of years, we're gonna be improving. As of right now, it's atrophying faster than it's gaining, and it has been. We had last year, the underground water was the lowest it ever reached. In basalt here, our lowest level was about 68 feet, which is as low as it's ever got in the history of underground water. Our one well over there is only a little over 100 feet. Our main city well is 240 feet deep. So we have no problem about depth of well to be able to achieve our water out of it. So that's not an issue for us as far as running out.
Right now it is, but you start pumping that much water out of that thing.
Well, like I said, that's a drop in the bucket compared to what it is. The beer plants up there in Idaho Falls, they produce 1,700,000 gallons a day per beer plant, and they take it out, contaminate it, dump it into the Idaho Falls sewer system, and run it to the Mid-Little River. It works out to about 36, 38 pivots worth of water a year that uses this atrophy and throw it out into the system. You want to talk about a water user? That's a big one.
Well,
That's just one of them facts of life, that the state of Idaho give them a water right that was non-existent.
why didn't them Einsteins over there in Boise figure out what,
They got nothing to do with us.
oh yeah, right. Where are we gonna get all the water at for all this stuff?
That's why they're talking about putting in injection wells in here to be able to put more water into the aquifer. They're learning that the more, if everybody's using more, because they're already talking about curtailment of new house wells on Water Well Drillers Association and the Idaho Department of Water Resources. They're already talking about restricting the amount of wells that's going into an area, because they're looking at, if that many more houses are coming in, we don't have the underground volume in there. And so the Department of Water Resources is on the verge of saying, no, you can't break that into a housing development because the water's not there.
You think?
They've already talked about it.
They're only about,
That's in my meetings with the water.
they're only about
department.
10 years too late on that deal.
They are. Okay. Any more?
Thanks, Guy.
Huh?
Thank you.
Wow.
So, what's the council think about, I mean, let's put the roads and stuff on hold a minute. I mean,
How much of the city roads do the water trucks have to travel on?
what's that?
How far into the city roads do the water trucks have to travel?
Well,
Just down the side.
just from over there on 700, where is the city border over there?
Oh, right in the middle of the road.
When they're coming down the road, north to south, where is the border at for
At
Basalt?
the canal up there and at the road down here.
Oh, I know it'd be down there. So it's at the canal. Okay, so from the canal to Goshen Road, to answer your question.
I was just curious, because that would be the part that would worry me is, you know, I think your water you're probably okay, because you use so much more in the summer. But, you know, to figure out the cost of fixing the road, when you run that many trucks a day, that's kind of a big unintended, or, you know, an unknown consequence.
I wouldn't be that much worried about it. Well, the roads are frozen up. It's in the spring when it's
Well,
wet.
if they're gonna be
That's
on
gonna be
till
the
June.
dangerous time.
And if they're wanting till June,
That's gonna be a period when you might have to say to them, you know, for a month here, you ain't hauling water on the base salt.
So, Guy, let me see if I got this right. They're gonna run hoses over to the well house, to the road?
I can isolate the pump house totally off, out of the system.
Well, I understand that, but, so them trucks are gonna be sitting on the road pumping water.
Or, yeah, on the side of the road.
They ain't gonna get them trucks off on the side over there. So they'll be sitting right on the road pumping that water.
And then how they gonna get out? Back out?
Huh?
No, they're gonna run hoses from the well house out to the road.
Clear to Goshen Road?
No,
No, to our road,
To our.
700
700.
on the edge of town.
Yeah, so then how do they get back out to Goshen?
Just go down the road and turn on the main highway and go down the way.
See, they're gonna go down Escott
They're gonna go
Road.
Escott and then come down 700 or 800, 900.
Mhm.
Come down 900 and then turn on that corner and come down this
Okay.
right here.
I was thinking they were coming up this road, so I'm like, well, how are they gonna get
They've
back
already
here?
been doing that.
Okay, that makes sense.
So,
So they'll be on the edge of the road. That's probably a 50,000-pound vehicle right there loaded.
Yeah.
More than
They
50,000.
move on to 50 days. That's just the
35,000 just in water, 36,000 just in water.
Yeah.
So we with your truck, yeah, you're 50,000, 60,000. That would be my concern, is just the wear and tear of the road. 'Cause that's
I guess then we need to say to them, if you want to accept it, that any damage they cause with their trucks has to be repaired by them.
The only problem with that is, the only problem with something like that is proving who caused the damage.
Exactly.
Is it an old road, is it partly old, is it, you know?
and we're not, and it's not gonna be word of mouth. Garrett, I'll have Garrett write up a contract, and Bateman's will have to sign a contract, cause I want all that in black and white, and I just,
Yeah, but my suggestion to you would be, you know, make sure the bill for the water is sufficient to cover the roadway, because you're always gonna have a problem with proving who caused the damage to the
Exactly.
roadway. So you have to make the water price attractive enough for you, or otherwise don't take the risk.
So you may consider, instead of 7, maybe you can maybe consider 10.
Add the price of the road in there and the price of a new pump.
Huh?
Add the price of the road and the price of the new pump system is.
Of repairing of the pump.
when's the last time that pump was repaired?
The impellers was 2000, we had it, when I put the new Yaskawa on it, ran backwards for a minute, shoved the turbine out, or the thing out the top, and so we had to pull it out and redo it, and when I did it, I put brand new stainless steel rods in it because they had carbon steel rods in it, and that was about 12 years ago. I completely rebuilt that, and then we had it all checked out. It's running really good, it's pulling good amps and everything else. That pump doesn't get used very much.
What would it cost to rebuild it?
Huh?
What do you think it would cost roughly to
What
rebuild
do you
it?
think we used to,
Um,
put
I
the
mean,
new
if
one
it just
in?
entirely failed.
A new pump, I don't know what it costs to rebuild the motor, it probably costs 5,000 to 10,000 to rebuild the motor if you had to rebuild it. And a new pump would probably be about, the shafting would be good and the piping would be good, but the impellers would probably cost us $20,000 to $25,000.
So you might be so you're $35,000 question.
Yeah. If you, it was to completely replace it, yeah, 40,000, 50,000, if you was to replace everything.
Well, that pump run while we was fixing this other one.
It
wasn't
did, it ran for 7 months,
Yeah.
it ran down.
I mean, you said we didn't use it very much, and I'm
Well,
thinking,
that's the first time. When I took over, that pump was still producing sand, and I had to run it extra time. And then I was, all while we was up like that, I would shut that other pump down and run it for 5, 10 days into the system, just to keep it, and I did that 3 times a year, just to keep that pump running over on it, then I'd shut it back down, we'd go back to the other pump, and I just kept doing it, bringing it up and everything else. It hasn't even got 1 year of total wear and tear on it.
Okay, so what would it cost you to replace that road? If you had, that, they break up our road and replace it, how much did it cost to replace the road?
I don't even know. I'd have to sit and figure that. I'd have to,
So we'd need to know what the materials are to cost, your time, and the time on the equipment. All that should be figured into the cost.
right.
everything's so expensive nowadays too.
To me, it sounds like it's getting to be cost prohibitive to sell them the water. With all the possible.
The risk of.
Yeah, the risk.
The risk.
I mean,
It's not the pump running and everything else, it's the damage,
Yeah,
especially to the road.
well, we could, I mean, if we wanna do it, we can throw them up their number, they just probably won't wanna pay it.
Well, where's their other option? If we say no, where's their,
They don't have one. We have Pocatello,
they don't have one.
Shelley or Pocatello.
Shelley, let them get it out of Shelley, that's where they're at anyway.
I don't even know what, I
I think, I don't know, I'm like Gil, I think the risk may be just too much that you don't want to take.
I don't like it, I'll be first to tell you, I don't like it at all.
Your risk,
Because,
your risk is pretty huge. I mean, if your pump goes down, there's a $40,000 bill, and you're not selling them any water anymore.
and what if we pump it dry?
Well, and, you know, yeah, I mean, I don't know that you would, but there's a risk, obviously. And the road, who knows? And you can't afford that.
Now, for the road, if you want to, I would say, to get a price for road repair, just go like to, K&H or whatever, tell them, how much to redo this road? Get a contractor to give you a estimate bid to redo the road and use that as your basis.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Well, it's like, say, 100% damage there and 100% on the pump, but now you're probably talking, $15, $18 water. I don't even show you that.
Yeah.
So,
For sure they can go to Shelley?
what?
For sure they can go get it there?
I don't know.
They may have been
Because
already
it might
turned
be
down by
worth it
Shelley.
if they don't have to drive all the way to Pocatello.
They don't have a right to come that way, so they would have to come down this road and down this road to come. If they bring water trucks in, they still come past us.
I think the reason they don't wanna get it Shelley, cause Shelley's gonna charge them too much money.
Shelley is expensive for water. Shelley's one of the most expensive places for water.
Well, I'm not too worried about whether they're
They
getting water.
don't have a big water right, they may not, they were fighting over water rights for putting extra houses into there, so they may not have a water right. They may have to come from Blackford or Pocatello.
That's their problem, not ours. I mean, they okayed to put all them houses in up there, so that's their baby, you know. But, and that's their problem. If we don't sell it to them, they'll have to go somewhere else, you know? I mean,
So even if they go somewhere else, they would still be going through the road, which could be Basalt's, or beyond Basalt's ticket.
Well,
To pay for it.
what's your weight limits? I don't remember what your weight limits through town were.
what's the what?
What's your weight limits through town though? Aren't you with like a 25,000?
5-ton weight limit on our roads.
In town.
In town?
Well, that road's in town.
Well, but yes, take that one out of the mix because we gotta find out the jurisdiction there, but they couldn't
Right.
come through the rest of your roads.
This road right up here,
5-ton.
Yeah, so they couldn't come through outside of Goshen. We gotta figure
See,
that one out.
if they pull over there to that well house and load 6,000 gallon or however many gallon,
they're over our weight limit.
they're over on weight limit from there to the corner on the city street.
We don't have a weight limit on that road per se, we have it coming into town, but we don't have one posted on that road. But we can change that if we need to.
I don't know. I just
Well, if it's our road, we can give them permission to drive on it or not.
Sure. Sure.
When we say you guys are too heavy to drive on our roads, then they just can't do it. So we don't really need to post anything, we can just say.
And you already have your ordinances on your weight limits. You have that, so.
Oh, good.
I remember seeing that in your book.
All permits, they have to pay the fee for the permit, right? So if they haven't asked for any permit from Basalt, if that was the city roads, I mean, that money technically went somewhere where it should.
Well, yeah, I'd be curious on the permit thing. I'd wanna find,
The state did it and.
and like I said, they can't override city road, city has jurisdiction, so that's where we gotta find out the jurisdiction of Goshen, who's truly in charge of that one. But,
Quick question on that. If the road is, if the county goes, oh yeah, right, okay, the road's ours, I mean, I said this county's road, and that bridge down there goes back to the county for its maintenance too.
so if there's, and that's what we gotta find out, because if, say it crumbles it up, well, then that needs to be the county's problem, or whoever's road it truly is.
both them bridges though is in the county, not. They're not
Into
in.
us.
Huh?
Them two are,
Them 2 bridges down there's in the
I
county.
thought they said that the one was the city's responsibility now.
No.
Oh, that's right, they did include
did.
the top bridge into the city, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess they did.
Well, then if there's, that's why we gotta talk to commissioners, because if they're saying that, and that's, they can't do that, then they're responsible for it. But if we're responsible, we get to say no.
Or we get to charge them big permit, costs.
So basically, we need to talk to the commissioners before we do it.
So we need to get to the bottom of that.
We need not to worry about that till you talk to the commissioners. Because we can't do anything until.
Well, what about all these big round deals or whatever they call them, to hold the
The impellers, the turbines.
impellers and
the
stuff, how
pipe
heavy
and
is
the
that
tubing.
stuff? You know?
That's why you need to talk to commissioners, find out who's gonna pay for the wear and tear on that road.
Yeah, and I have no idea how heavy that stuff is. It may not be a huge issue. I mean, it may not.
The water trucks running up and
The
down
water
there.
trucks are heavy. Like the turbines, or the impellers, or propellers.
The impellers are just long and
Yeah,
cumbersome.
they're not gonna be super heavy.
The generator is 200,000 pounds.
Okay. Is that how much those weigh? That's a lot of weight.
That, even that much.
That's
weight,
why
even
that
on a
one
low
bridge
boy
up
will
in
go with,
Goshen had to be replaced because it. was-
a lot of axles on like a 15 axle low boy, it's still a lot of weight going down.
I don't know if that bridge of ours will hold all that or not, that weight.
Well, like Gil says, they spread it out, but, it still has.
They do, yeah, they got 20 wheels under that bed, but you still,
Yeah.
20 sets.
Well, okay,
Well, I know the mind that we think about it, because I think we're all leaning towards no, but.
Garrett and I'll get
How
it
about you
appointed.
two?
Go,
See,
yeah,
my thought is, if they do have to go far away, let's just throw out a huge number. We're not out anything if they don't take it, and then we can make a lot off of them. Then we have, like guys said, we don't have any money if we're low in that. But I mean, if it's gonna be they have to go clear to Pocatello, then shoot them a high number, and if they don't take it, they don't take it, then we're not out anything.
that's true too.
Yeah. I figured that number to replace the road anyways.
Yeah, you just
Yeah,
just
that-
put all of our
that-
cost in that, replacement
That's
of the
what I'm
road,
saying.
replacement of that, throw it in there, who cares if it's high ball, we're not out anything. Kind of a win-win for us, I guess, but, yeah, I say we
So
figure
one
out
of
what's
the-
with the road first and,
One of the options you would have is if you want to approve this, you know, you could give authority to the mayor to do that, so you don't have to wait a whole month, depending on how the information comes in. But you have the authority to negotiate that if you want. Or you can do a motion to table it till January, and then we can find out more about the road. I don't know how quick they are for the water, but
Are they hauling now?
Nope, they shut the whole project down because they don't got water for it.
And it's winter, but it's winter time for them, so they're probably going, we're laying people off anyways.
And they've got a little extra snow up there and they're not sure, but right now they're not hauling gravel. You can say they're not coming by your place constantly, are they?
no, they're not.
No, they shut the project down temporarily right now because they don't have the water. It ran out as of November 30th on the river. They ran out of water rights, they ran out of, they having problems with snow up on the hill. And they wanted to keep going, they wanted to try to keep going as late as they could because the whole project was in 9 months. And the more time they get in now, the less time they'll be before they're done.
So is that what that thing down by the river where the overage was, that like, that's where they're getting water.
That was a pump.
Oh,
They backed down that, boat ramp,
okay,
and their pump was sitting right there.
okay, I wondered what that was, I'm like, what was that, okay.
you're probably all right then, just to table it till January. I'm not talking
I would
January
prefer to
10th.
table it because
Yeah.
that whole month, they're not running nothing down our roads.
Well, you got
If
the
Exactly.
holidays.
indeed that's our road.
And you got the holiday coming up.
Yeah, that's
Of
true.
course, the bad thing about that is that's,
And I'll just tell him that we haven't made it, the city council hasn't made a decision, they'll have to come back up in January.
Yeah, because I would like more information on what's
Yeah.
gonna cost us to replace the
That's-
road. Or is that part of our road? Is that our road? Do we have to give them that? There's a lot of questions.
how many windmills they supposed to put up there, you know?
I think it's 56.
How many?
I think it's 56.
56.
Yeah.
And all that's gotta go.
That's only half the project.
What's the other half?
It's more, that same amount. They've gotta continue it on over there and then they're gonna go up the Blackfoot River as soon as they can figure out how to cross and go up that.
Shit.
In total, it could be a couple of hundred
Really?
up in here on the hill.
You know, the only
Like I
person,
said, too bad they couldn't do it like this.
you know, the only ones that make any money on them windmills
Not us.
is the people that put them up.
Yeah.
That's the only people that,
Here's the other truth about it, is because they have to add them into the grid to run them out, we never get a brownout because of the extra power. Because it has to run through the grid to run out of there, so we have a sufficient power usage in here, you never get no brownouts, no low currents. That's the only one caveat that's in it. We don't hit the power, but it loads the system.
where does the power go that comes off of
Most
there?
of it's California and Colorado.
You ever been to
It's where it's been.
California?
And ones above Idaho Falls, everything's sold in Colorado.
You ever been to California?
I don't go there, I ain't gonna do that.
They got thousands and thousands and thousands
Yeah.
of windmills.
All the way up, down, over through this.
Oh, all over.
Yes, yeah.
Out there by, yeah, all over.
Over in Wyoming, there's a 2,000 acre graveyard of
Several-
wind power blades.
1,000 just on the Alton Pass on 580. Out over there by Livermore.
up there around Tehachapi and stuff, that's all you see is
Yeah, down there, yeah.
windmills up there in that place.
I've only
You
been-
know, you know what California did, don't you? They had, their grid was totally green, functional off the rivers, and all these mini,
5 or 6 miles.
power plants
30 miles.
with, fish ladders, and the fish population was great.
30
Flat.
miles.
The snowflakes said, oh, we gotta tear them all out because it's damaging the fish. They tore them all out, fish population dropped, and they had no power.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was just, it was unnerving how long you would drive.
Well, I think we should move to table it.
Really?
We have to make it.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah, go ahead.
So he's saying that that's half the project. So later they're gonna come back and say, we need more water.
Or they could take it out of the river maybe again next year.
Or maybe, yeah.
So
And
we-
and maybe a year out or something like that.
So with the contract that you guys made, like have an end date, and that way they don't,
Well, what you would do is you would have it as a set fee per gallon, with the city having the right to terminate it at any time.
Yeah.
And just so-
And the truth of it is they've already bought our water right on the river, so that during general water season, they'll be sucking it out of the river. Cause it's much cheaper. What they pay thousands and thousands of dollars for us, they pay $500 for the river water line.
I should use that before I use it.
Looks like it'd been smarter for them to drill wells there.
No, there's no allowance for wells for that use in the state of Idaho. The only one that would work for them is if they went over there to the beer plant and took all that beer sludge.
Okay, so do we need to,
So you need to do a motion to table it until next
Do
month.
we need to make a motion for, though, to approve it for him to,
No, no,
So
I don't
you
think,
do the
because
road
those
and-
were ors. So I mean, it was either gonna be a motion to do either their authority or a motion to table. So where we have time, I think you just do a motion to table so that the whole council can be involved with the new information.
so he could still go meet with the commissioners?
Yeah, so
like
we'll
next
still, we'll
week
try
if
and get,
that-
we'll still try to get some of those answers, yes.
Okay,
So I think you just do a motion to table it, and then we can have the whole discussion next month,
okay.
and then all the council can be involved.
Motion to table it.
I'll second it.
all in favor?
I was just worried if they were under a little more of a time crunch, like, you know,
Oh,
we
yeah.
had some next week, well,
Yeah,
then we didn't wanna wait a month. but-
yeah, until he said, oh, they're not running by your place tomorrow. You're right, they're not.
Yeah.
My mirror isn't rattling.
Yeah.
They've shut it down right now because of weather, because of water, because of. If it continues to snow real heavy, they'll be shut down no matter what.
We got, yeah, with the good storm this weekend and then the holidays,
Yeah.
wait until
Yeah, if
January.
they,
I wanna
if we all of a
get
sudden get a couple
the
feet up in
auditor,
here
see
like
what
that, they'll be
she
done
thinks.
until the snow.
What can she do?
Yeah. I don't know what to do.
She can't do nothing.
She can't give me any ideas
Oh,
on,
I wouldn't think so.
okay.
What about the water? About this one?
It's just, our water fund is some months slowly going down,
Dissipating.
and it's not.
I've been spending too much money fixing things.
You what?
I've been spending too much money fixing things.
Wow.
It hasn't helped.
What would we have to do to take some money out of general fund to help out with the,
Well, you're not supposed to with your bonding, so, because your enterprise funds have to be self-sufficient. So if you're truly dragging your water fund down, you know, because again, you know, if they have to be self-sufficient, then, you know, you can loan it from the general fund, but you're gonna have to make some hard decisions on your fees again. Just like sanitation, you had to go $5. If you need to go up $2 or $3 or $4 on your water, you might have to. But, you know, so you can loan it, I mean, obviously don't bounce checks, right, pay your bills, but they're supposed to be self-sufficient, your enterprise funds are.
I see.
Sounds like grant time.
Well, but if it's a monthly problem, then it's take a look at fees time too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, 'cause everything's going up.
Yeah.
I mean, everything's getting more expensive for everybody, so just like your sanitation, I mean, you gotta keep up.
Yeah. Yeah. I wish we'd have known.
You know, you look up and down the valley, I mean, just about every city up and down the valley has had to crank up their water, sewer, sanitation everywhere. Lycra just had a huge jump on everything.
I wished I'd have known we'd have added some in there jack our water up too.
It's easy enough to do a notice, all we have to do is do another public hearing and, sit down and look. I mean, if you're just not covering,
Is that just a recent thing though?
It's, some months we're fine, and then other months it'll drop a couple thousand. Or it's,
And what,
Is it trending downward overall?
Or is it
The
just
past-
repairs or?
probably 2 months it hasn't been going down. But it's just like, this, I can pull out the things and show you what I'm talking about.
you said 2 months ago we was all right, but now
Yeah.
we're in trouble.
And it went down this last month when I balanced the books. And so some months it's fine, and then other months it drops a couple thousand. or-
Are we ever
Yeah,
up?
there should be something in there, I mean, you ought to be able to tell what's doing that.
Just the different bill that comes out of the water
Okay.
account.
Are we ever up? Like we're good, like, oh, we've got a surplus this month?
Not
Or
really,
just kind of even?
just kind of,
So it sounds like we're gonna need to increase our water too, because things are not gonna stop breaking. Guys still gonna need to fix things, and if we're already having an issue now,
Yeah,
then we better consider raising our prices.
exactly.
well, and I just want to clarify when I said you have another public hearing. As long as you're not over 5%, you don't have to have a public hearing.
Yeah.
But if you have to go over 5%,
What would 5% be?
Yeah, that was my question.
So like tonight, obviously under sanitation, $5 isn't a big deal, but percentage wise, I mean, you're 40%, 42%. That's why you have to have a public hearing. Dollar wise, it was a different number, but percentage wise it was.
oh, 5, not 5.
What's your water rate right now?
It is 39, so it would be $1.95 increase.
That's not gonna be
This
enough.
probably not enough.
No.
No.
Gotta look at it, but
We're gonna do,
We better jack it up to at least a 40, I would say. No, it's 39 now,
Mm-hmm.
50, that's what I meant to say. Better raise it up to 50. Don't you think?
$10 to $11?
if that's what we need to do, that's what we need to do.
well, if you took your, I mean, because Tressa could take your, take like a 6 month revenue, add in a 6 months, expenses and find out where you're at.
You only need to take it up to 45.
Yeah,
Pardon?
Maybe,
You only need to take it up to
Maybe-
I'll get an
45.
average.
Mm-hmm.
maybe it would help to call.
Yeah, why don't you give us an average over, you think 6 months is gonna be enough, or do you
A
think we should go
year
longer?
maybe.
I'd do a
I'd
year.
take a year.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like
You
to
do it a
see-
year?
I'd do the year.
I'd do it, I'd take that.
And you may do both. I mean, once you have those numbers in front of you, it's easy to take a 6 month
Right.
average, 12 month average.
Oh, yeah.
Because obviously this last year has been hard on everybody. I mean, we don't normally have 8 and 10 and 12% inflation. Diesel at 10 or 6 months.
Well, look at taxes, how they went up.
Yeah, I mean, just everything.
Property taxes.
Yeah. I can't remember that.
It's been a tough year, and I think we've got another one coming, so.
Hey, Rich,
What's
I
that?
said it's been a tough year, and I think we got another one coming, another bad year. 2023 is not pleasant.
I'm sure you're right there. This midterm election, didn't
It was, but anyway, don't get me on the soapbox.
Hold up, hold up.
I
Don't get me
know.
started.
Okay, so.
All right, well, I guess that's everything for tonight. What do you think, old man? You haven't said nothing all night.
No sense to me arguing, I got women on both sides. I had enough trouble with that one at home.
Hey, don't get me started on that either.
Oh, he's surrounded by 2 women too, watch out. Okay, I make a motion we adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Okay. There's a Hammond back in my pickup for you and for